Hi, my name is Chris. I've been working on this intelligent federated learning research UI for about the past 4 months, and I think it's something that can really be useful not even for my own personal growth, but for people in general. For reference, this is for federated learning, for people to learn how to use federated learning, to understand it, to get better clients, and to have the layman's person learn how to just use federated learning and get better models for their information. So this was made in Python, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. All of the back stuff, the back end stuff was done by me, my PhD student that I've been working with, Dmitry Korbanenikov. This is his project, his idea. I was just able to work on the server and the UI for him, and it was a great experience. And yeah, so this is what we're going to talk about for now. So when you're first booted up, you're given something like this. So you have something here, or you'll have this run page, this analyze page, this documentation page, AI settings, and configs. What I'm going to do for now is just do that there instead of typing in what I need to do. So here, I'll do that one instead. So what is this? This is the framework that we've been working on, put into a physical form and all this stuff. So we have a centralized server on RIT's server base that we are able to create API requests, pulls, and access at any time for our own uses. What this use is for a federated learning database. Basically, it'll have all of the previous experiments, the results, and the configurations, users, hardware, and all that information stored onto the server for this AI to collect and train newer versions. So then those are the strongest versions that they can be. So let's say right now I have this feminist IID. This is actually the prompt that I used to make it. And then if I wanted to do, let's say, yeah, that this is the one. So it said I would want a feminist IID dataset with 20% malicious clients running label flipping every round, and I also need a Gaussian blur to occur for half of these rounds. So here's what it does. It'll tell me what we're testing, the robustness between two common adversarial behaviors, label flipping and Gaussian blur, and it will describe that. It'll then give me the reason why I chose that specific data set, why I did all this stuff, and basically tell me everything. And then you would then validate it. If it runs, it runs. If it doesn't, it will give you a brief description as to why it won't. And then you'd press start. I'm not going to press start because there's a few issues when I'm recording it. I just tried it a couple times and it just broke my PC. So I'm not going to do that. But since this is the one that I ran, you can see that it says the execution started. And then here's the plan of what it tastes on in plain terms. And then did all of the results. They all showed up here, and all the information is here. And then you can also edit this. So if I wanted this to be like a different seed, one, if I wanted this to be feminist NIID, there we go. This over here is our experience history. This is where we'll have all this information. So let's say I wanted just me. It'll then search and search and search and search and search until it finds enough to then print it onto here. But what does this mean? So it'll show off this, the RFA aggregation method, and then the feminist NIID. It'll then have the total number of rounds that it ran, the training device, the attack types, and the number of malicious clients. It'll then show us the aggregation accuracy over rounds and the aggregated loss per round. And then if you ran it on your own personal server, you could then open this and you'll be able to find the information. Like here, we have all this information here. And then have our absolute distance, which wasn't tracked. And then our total FP history, false positives, and false negative history. So as you can see, we don't have any here. And then at the end, we don't have any false positives or false negatives. So as that's run, I'll then show you, oh, there we go, just finished. So it'll show me all of my previous results. It normally is long on the first query, but then if I do, let's say I want RFAs, all of my RFA runs, I want them right now. Those are my only two that I've done. But then if I say, let's do PID, which is a different one, it'll show me all of mine and all the stuff that I've done right there. But then let's say I want Tyler's, Tyler Black's, and then it'll show me all of Tyler's runs, and I can click and choose which ones I want. And then if I want the config, I'll do there, I'll validate it. It won't work because it's missing a shared settings, but I could query the AI assisted config to fix it for me. Next is the analyze. So what this basically does is show all of our information. It'll pull from the AI, not from the AI, from the database, all of the information that you're specifically asking for. So I said recently, Chris just did a feminist RFA run. What's the difference between his run and previous feminist NIID RFA runs, and how does it compare? So it will then return this. Chris's latest run, who, when, config, success, hardware. So it'll then give me the SQL query, and then it'll result in this. And then it'll get all of the previous feminist RFA runs, and we won't show all of the SQL, but just know whenever it says an SQL here, it's printing out that entire block. It'll then give me the information that I need here, all the information that I need here. But if I don't want to read all of that, because that's a lot of mumbo jumbo, it'll tell me here. And then Chris's latest run, feminist NIAD plus RFA, was successful and much lighter, 10 rounds versus 50 rounds in prior runs with more clients and more malicious clients. And then it's saying that my speed was slower. My attack removal metrics were perfect. And then I had a substantially lower average accuracy and higher aggregated loss. However, the attack metrics were perfect, which is what I mentioned before. So it gives you the specific reasonings for why I came up with that information, and to dumb it down for the layman person, like not like me, who has been working with this for forever. And as you can see, if I go over to this one, I can be like, oh, how many feminist IID experiments are over 20 rounds? There have only been 2. I can ask information, what is the most used data set? Air quality UCI is the most used data set at that time. Yeah. And then it'll take a bit just to go through, just because it's querying through the entire server, querying through everything. And you might be asking, wait, does that mean I can use it? Unfortunately, not right now, because we have a few APIs or we have one dedicated API key, just because it's still a developmental server. But what you can look at is this URL, GSC, or here we are. This one right here. And we can see just the basic throw up of what we've had here. So we can have the experiment size, or the amount of experiment, the database size, and then the last executed experiment, which is what I did recently. So this is just the basic rundown of this framework UI that I've done. Uh, it is something that has been very difficult for me to focus on because there's been a lot of moving parts, a lot of different people at different places. I've been having to respond to several different people and what they needed and what I needed and what another person needed all at the same time, making sure that the pull requests are clean and neat, making sure I'm not messing with this person's stuff while also trying to do my own stuff. And it's been a lot of necessary learning because it feels like I'm on an actual team. I've been working with 5 other people at the same time for all of this information for this research framework. And it's been a lot of fun. HTML is something that I've never really worked with, neither is JavaScript, and it was very exciting to work on it. The HTML or the TSX file, so the CSS file, I believe, is insanely long. It is so jam packed, and it was so much harder than I realized it was. But it was so much fun to work on it and learn. Uh, the portions that I really worked with were the initial server throw on, the model creation. So the schema for the model, the AIO HTTP requests, the persistence. So basically putting it onto the server was all me, and then creating the session, that was all me as well. But yeah, if you have any questions about this server, the front end, the back end, I'd be so glad to let you know, and I'll do my best to help you out with it. But overall, this is what I've been working on for the past 4 months, and it's been a great time. All right, thank you.